Okay, welcome everybody once again to the Good Future Foundation booth. We are here at BETT, the world's largest EdTech fair. We are here on day 3 of the event, and I'm excited and delighted to welcome an extraordinary panel here with us today. Collaborators and friends from Women in AI, as well as our student council here at Good Future Foundation. I think before we get into the subject for this session, it would be great if we could just do a quick round of introductions. If you wouldn't mind just telling our audience a bit about yourself, your name, your role, particularly within Women in AI and GFF, and what got you interested in AI to begin with. Let's maybe kick off with that.
Hello, my name is Dr. Aisha Naseer, and I'm the UK Ambassador for Women in AI. And one of the things that we at Women in AI promote is the diversity in terms of inclusiveness and promoting the women in the tech sector and upgrading them in terms of their professional and personal skills. So this is very good platform to share our opinion and thoughts, and thank you for inviting us.
Hi everyone, my name is Adebola Olomo. I am also part of Women in AI. I work with the partnership team heading marketing and communications. Most importantly, I'm a mom to a 15-year-old. And recently she asked me, Mom, what should I really do? What should I study? And I said, hey, go with your heart, but make sure that in an AI world, you are part of those that are making decisions. And so I love the fact that I'm in a conversation like this. I'm looking forward to really just helping to see how we can guide the next generation. So having us.
Adebola, thank you.
Hello. The Good Future Foundation Student Council. I work for 7 years at university studying physics. I think my main is AI. My top has makes people like use AI to access my studies. I started thinking how can I use this better decision to me and other better ways to build lots of.
Thank you ever so much, all of you. Aisha, maybe if we can start with you. Could you tell us a bit about what it means to be the UK ambassador for Women in AI and what does Women in AI do?
So Women in AI is a non-profit organization. We have chapters all across the world. In APAC region, we have chapters in North Americas, we have chapters in Middle East and Europe as well. So it's over 170 countries. We have the Women in AI chapters. And I lead the UK chapter. So each country is led by a chapter leader. So I'm the ambassador for the UK. And when we promote the women, we don't just say that we are going to host some events where women can participate, but actually we also give them the opportunity to participate in practice. So we give them the opportunity to upskill. We just launched our program, which is called Huawei Techies in 2025, and it has been running quite successfully. And the Huawei Techies is to upgrade their skills. We bring them hands-on AI technology or a tool like Python, like Power BI, like Tableau, or whichever tool is in demand or in practice, and they can enroll themselves and come in a live lab, a computer lab, which we co-organize with the university so that they can then learn it and then they can use it in their own space and time. So, and also we offer mentorship programs as well. So it's a lot more than just the, just kind of conceptual framework. It's more practical and hands-on that we offer.
So practically speaking, Adebola, how do women join this movement? How do they join the organization? What does that look like in terms of registering it and getting involved with it?
That's why it's so unique at Women in AI. Well, an organization understands the community is what helps us do better. So no matter what your background is, you don't have to be in technology, you don't have to be a technical person. Once you have an interest in AI, whatever part of it is, you send an email through the website, womeninai.co, and it will lead you to the chapter head of the country where you're in. And that's it. You become a part of it. And they bring you into conversations like this. They're able to help you as well to upskill, like you said, go into mentorship programs. They do very interesting pairing so that you're able to work with those that actually understand your journey or who you can also mentor as you get mentored. It's a unique space. And what I like as well about Women in AI is that it's practical. So we get to work with organizations that are doing this and bring real use cases our way so that we can actually sit in panels like this, have those discussions, build together, create research papers. So many practicalities to the way you work with Women in AI. So the best place to be as a woman or someone leaning towards a woman as an ally, Women in AI. I highly recommend it.
I'm keen to know, Emily, how that resonates with you as a student and someone with, although you're not studying AI, someone with an interest in this area in terms of community and what we've heard about the benefits of being a part of women in AI.
I mean, my first name was Fletcher. Yeah, this sounds so great. I think we especially, especially to you guys, we have to go back to detect. And so university that way, knowing that there is this fundamental issue in dealing about and listening to help each other out feels like a really pleasant space. I got really interesting.
Aisha, to an in-depth area of the conversation then, where is it that women may lose momentum when it comes to understanding and navigating the world of AI and how that's encroaching on everyday aspects of our lives?
It's very interesting where they lose momentum, because when we say women are part of an organization, women are part of a revolution, women are part of our panel, women are part of our corporate culture, that's one thing. And when we say women have got the empowerment and the leadership and the authority and the way they can drive, that is different. So they lose momentum when we have a disintegration of these two things. So they are given the presence to be there, but they're not the decision makers. They don't have a choice. They are suffering and they're, suffocating, and they're like, oh my God, I want to do it this way. It might yield better results or might have better organizational value, but they're not given the opportunity. And that's where they lose momentum. Then they just become like another person in the herd, like go with the flow. I'm getting my bills. Who cares? Or I'm struggling for a job, anything. I want to get in, and that's it. And that's where we need to work as a society, as organizations who are supporting women, young women at all ages, to deliver the best. They need to have some sort of authority. They need to be better positioned within the organizational structure, within a sector, within the public policy setting, within the public sector, within the consumer rights. They need to be positioned. They need to be given the opportunity to be positioned in the way they can deliver the best. And when they can't, they're not given that, then they lose the momentum. Because then it becomes so difficult for them to participate. It becomes so difficult for them. Oh, AI is not for me. Technology is not for me. I'm not going to go anywhere with it. So that's when they lose momentum.
Adebola, does that resonate from your perspective in terms of technology in particular?
100%. And I remember a few years ago, when we started to talk about gender and AI. It was just interesting because many times then we go into sessions and you're sharing with them percentages and scenarios and statistics of women that are not in tech or women that are not seen when they talk about AI. But look at it down the line, just a year or two down, there are women everywhere. You talk about AI, you find women there. You talk about technology, you see more women in there. We ask them then, put your hands up, you're part of project. They've done that, they put their hands up. They're part of project. But then, like you said, it's almost like moving a pipe. Let's use a pipe as an example. Everybody's moving the pipe. But because now more women are in there, the pipe has gotten to a point where it's just stuck. Because there's so many people going in at the same time, it gets to a point where the pipe is now like combusted, like just there. So only few get to leave to go out of it. But when they do go out of it as women, how many people look back to help other women out of that scenario? That's one. All the things that she said about authority is another pipe has now become important because we've worked so much about this pipe, about getting involved, we're forgetting the authority pipe. So now, how many of them can make decisions? How many of them can actually create something and it gets done? So now that's the pipeline we need to start to look at. Thank you for this pipeline. Great job, women. But now can we start to think and say, am I in the spaces where decisions are made about AI? Am I in the spaces where things are changing about technology? That's where we want to go, and that's where we want direct thinking to go.
I'm wondering how that's impacting choices that students might make, either at school, if you can cast your mind back, Emily, to making subject choices, or indeed at university. Is that something that you or perhaps your peers experience when it comes to thinking through what you might study and the subjects you might have a better chance at engaging with?
I think that's definitely the case. I think looking back at what you were saying, so it's not only you learn how to use AI, but they have to get in positions of leadership around it. I think it very much applies to what I study, politics. So we get a lot of get to hire through research and women around that, and then make them in positions of leadership, and that is usually also very implemented. So it feels quite relatable actually to feel it's cool.
Aisha, then how does that happen? Or what are the barriers to preventing that step from contribution to leadership?
I think we have to look at the entire pipeline, as Adebola just mentioned. So, starting from early careers, when they're actually engaging into learning where they might go when they grow up, all the way to when they are grown up, and then they know which job they want to take or what role they want to play within the ecosystem, the AI ecosystem, that really matters. So if they are given the opportunity at early stage to engage with technology, to learn about it, to embrace it. So don't think technology is an alien or something, oh, it's going to be superficially put onto my head and how I'm obliged to do it. Adapt it, embrace it, love it. And that's what gives you a passion. That passion keeps you going. That passion is like a small, like a spark in your soul. You feel that I want to do something in it. And that spark is important to be there in the early age. And that's where we as a society, as organizations, we can play a role in making it easier in collaboration with the schools, in collaboration with the education system. How can we bring these technologies in a very easy way and adapt them accordingly to that young age? And throughout, then they feel the interest, they see the spark, they see it's happening, and that would get them into a growing and leadership role as well.
Emily, can I come back to you for a second? Because I suppose this is something that you will have experienced, right? You, for whatever reason, decided that AI was an interesting area to explore through Good Future Foundation. Where did that spark come from? Do you remember?
I don't know if I exactly remember. No, actually I do. So when ChatGPT first came out, I remember having a really in-depth conversation about it. My phone just died. Oh no, it's back. And I then started playing with it for quite a while, using the image generation features. And as something who is quite creative, I really enjoy that. I could actually use this tool to bring things to life, and I started pushing it. Then I thought about actually what does that do to artists who do this on their daily basis. What is their work in comparison to that? And I think I just started doing from there on the ethical side of things. But yes, maybe this is completely different to what you were expecting. But it's through kind of a process of creativity and engaging that I got that spark you were talking about. And ever since, I've been continuing kind of learning about new platforms and how it functions. But I also have found that my institutions have been quite opposing to that technology, especially at the university. There's always an pushback against AI, and it's really complicated to then engage with it, still staying within the rules that are set by the university, but also learning to use it better and make the person.
So the institutions that we're involved with can often govern behavior. But what about at an ethics and government level? Do those areas of an institution perhaps impact opportunities for women? Adebola, if I can come to you on this.
And that's where it becomes, listening to her, I feel so inspired, about the next generation and the kind of guidance that they're going to bring into the world. So what happens now is, before now, we've always put a lot of emphasis on STEM, science, technology, maths, all the likes. You need to, if you're going into AI, know the technology. But it's shifting as well. Because now, who are the people making the rules for them to work in? Those are the ethics people. Those are the qualitative people. Those are the guys creating policies. Those are the lawyers. Those are the folks those are the softer skills, are the ones creating the guardrails so that the tech folks can get to work. So it becomes important now that ethics and responsible AI is the new North Star. Is the new, so whenever I see students that are not really technical, I tell them, don't get discouraged. You don't have to be coding to be able to make an impact in the world of AI. You just need to be in whatever field you're on, but ask yourself, how can I make a difference, an impact on my own role within that space? Where does power lie within what it is that I'm doing? and then you insert yourself into that. So I think that now is the role where we really, really push up those within that are thinking about responsible AI, about policies, about ethics, about diversity. This is the time where we really give them a platform, because those are the new folks that are making the decisions for the guys that are even in the technical space.
So, Aisha, people that are already in those roles, how much women, I should say, that are already in these positions of seniority, perhaps, or decision making, how much of a responsibility is there for them to be able to promote women who are perhaps not at that level just yet?
So the proportion of women in leadership roles is definitely much less as opposed to men, of course. It's quite marginalized. But the trend at the moment, the pattern is that they are getting more and more women at the leadership role, at the senior positions. Now, given the fact that they're already less in number, they have a huge responsibility of getting people on board, getting people to be with them on the right leadership levels, on the decision boards, on the strategic boards, and so that they can make decisions with inclusiveness with the women, right? And I think one of the things which I mentioned in my last panel at another event was no decision about AI, about me without me. So rather than having women as the users of technology, they should be involved within as makers of technology, not just as developers and engineers, but as the users. When the data is trained, they need to be in that data. They need to have a representation from that group of women. Because women in generic is women, but we have women of color, we have women of race, we have women, they're all women, but having representation from one group doesn't mean all groups are represented. So that is quite undermined at the moment. So that needs to be considered thoughtfully, that when we say the data is trained, the model is trained on a particular data, is that data inclusive? Or you just say, oh, you're one bunch of women and that's it. So that is important. If you're making decisions, if that AI technology, because it's going to be pervasive, it's everywhere. If I'm a lawyer, I'm using AI. If I'm a consultant in a law firm or assurance or accountancy, I'm using AI. I'm an artist, I'm using AI. So if I'm not involved in that AI, my representation somehow is not there, then that technology is not going to be representing me, right? You know what I mean? So that perspective is very important to consider, that women are represented from all forms and shapes in order to have their say in the technology. And just one more thing, as Adebola and Emily as well mentioned, that you don't have to be computer software engineers or developers, because AI is so pervasive. My 6-year-old can say, oh, mommy, this is a new cartoon recommended for me. So recommendation systems, right? They've been there for 25 odd years or 30 odd years. So recommendations about this book is more suitable for you. It's for everybody. So that is something that you need to understand, that how can I do my job best using AI? And that's what I meant, going back to embracing the technology. How can it benefit me? If I'm an artist, which tool can I use to be more creative?
Yeah. Sorry, just to add a bit
Please.
to what
Yes.
Aisha said as well on the leadership, the question about the leadership vibes. I feel that mentorship has become very common now. You know, when people just say mentorship. I think we need to move to a point where we understand that when leaders are actually picked, many of us are not in the rooms when we're selected. So what it means is that we need more advocates. We need more sponsors rather than mentors. So women have to get to a point where they actually look out for someone's career enough to be able to say, that person deserves a seat on this table. You know, so we need more women to not just do the fine bit and the visibility bit that, oh, I'm mentoring 5 students. No. Sponsorship is what is costly. And that's the one that will lead more women into rooms where they're not. That's what we want.
In terms of opportunities then, Emily, linking back specifically to voice and how included you might feel, particularly in product design or AI tools that you might use in the future, do you see those opportunities emerging to contribute or to speak up and feel represented?
Not particularly, actually. I think maybe I'm not looking fun enough for these opportunities, but I don't find them to be at the same rate as men. It's pretty odd because I'm part of a 50% and women it's a equal split, and I don't feel well represented in the products. I think, like for example with AI, I don't know if you've ever had a sort of search on why do I have a headache or why do I have this? And the answer you get out of it sometimes feels really male orientated. And it's unclear why, but then it makes sense because most of medical data is, is all based on the anatomy. So it's really complicated and we feel kind of like left out, but why am I not represented in that way? And then instead of having women in those places of leadership within the creation of AI, I think you were saying you were talking about women, you were talking about leaders who plays the guardrails on AI and how it evolves. And I actually think there's also a question of actually it's more of a niche, so instead of placing limits on how the conscience, they have also the ability to look at, what can be done in the future, but whilst having that reflection of, okay, where should we not cross the line? Or where should we be more anxious? And I like that idea that we can still have progress in technology. Like, we're not here to stop it, but only to make it more adaptive and more helpful for everyone.
I'm wondering then, did you want to come back on that, Adebola? Okay. I'm wondering then at an organizational level, so encompassing organizational strategy moving forward and momentum and drive, taking into consideration some of the challenges that have been raised here, are there any practical points, practical guidance, practical advice you might give to organizations to be more inclusive and offer that additional opportunity, perhaps within a 12-month period? Is there anything, Aisha, that you might suggest initially?
I would suggest that organizations need to be a bit more open-minded toward getting the opportunities to women and giving them at least like a test trial. Give them a challenge, give them a target, and if you're not sure that they would deliver, make it like a small project or a trial project. Say, are you going to do it? In AI, we have reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is a model where we kind of a hit and trial with a reward. We can have a very similar function within the real corporate culture as well. So they try, if the appointed leader or the appointed women is able to deliver, have impactful results, then that's it. And you can gather these heuristics, you can gather these experiences based on what you do, So organizations need to be encouraging enough to give these opportunities to women, get them better positioned, not just in terms of the roles, but also in terms of the policy making and strategic thinking, in aligning the roadmap for the organization. Then that would give them the courage, that would give them, the women, the confidence that I can do it. And when they say I can do it, they do it, right?
Adebola, does that resonate?
Yes, it does. And I like the fact that we spoke a lot about power today. So what I would say back to organizations is, kudos to you, well done. You've done really well with the diversity report. We see the reports now. But now can you go back and do an audit of those are the places of decision? If you do an audit of the teams and say who is in power, who is making the decision, then you can see the gender difference and start to really see how can you make an impact here? Because if you make a change, your culture will follow.
Emily, finally then from you, is there anything you would like to see, perhaps from organizations, that you will go on to contribute towards in the future?
Absolutely. So I think if you're an organization who values equality as the outcome, then you have to admire equity in your processes. So women need to be given these opportunities through, additional training, additional roles that they can apply for. Because otherwise there's just not going to be enough space at the table. A woman is not there to replace another woman. It's to end up having a table that's representative of the actual population and what everyone wants. So I think that's important.
Well, we're very grateful to all of you for your time and your energy here today, and also very grateful to Women in AI who are doing phenomenal work, as we've heard about. Really encourage our audience to explore that moving forward, particularly the online community there. But thank you to all of our guests today. It's wonderful having you with us. Enjoy the rest of day 3 at BETT.